Deputies showed up at Afroman's house. His kids were home. They executed a search warrant. But what are the rules around how police can enter your home? And what happens when those rules have no real teeth? So, here's where we are right now in the series. We've talked about the Fourth Amendment and qualified immunity last week. Today, we're going to focus on the warrant itself, specifically no-knock warrants, and how they work and why they have become one of the most contested uses of police power in America. So, here's the deal around the knock and announce rule. So, folks may have heard about that before. I'm going to break this down. So the default rule under federal law is knock and announce. Before entering a home to execute a warrant, officers are supposed to knock and identify themselves as police and give the occupants a reasonable opportunity to respond. So it's not like boom, boom, cops, poof. No, you got to give the people a beat to be like, what? Huh? Okay. This comes from the Fourth Amendment, and it has been baked into, codified into federal statute, federal law, right? Now, the exception to this are no-knock warrants. A judge can authorize a no-knock entry if officers show that knocking would be dangerous, futile, or would allow evidence to be destroyed. In theory, that sounds like a high bar. In reality, courts have granted these almost routinely in drug cases based on like boilerplate recycled language about evidence destruction. So the result ends up being a tool meant for rare, high danger situations becoming standard practice in a low level drug investigation. And so enter Breonna Taylor. March 2020, Louisville, Kentucky. Police executed a no-knock warrant at Breonna Taylor's apartment at midnight. She was a 26-year-old EMT. The target of the investigation was not at that address. It hadn't been at that address for a good minute. Her boyfriend, believing it was a break-in, grabbed his gun legally and fired a shot. Officers returned fire, and Breonna Taylor was killed in her hallway. No drugs were found. The man named in the warrant was already in custody. No officer was charged for her death. One officer was charged for the bullets that passed through her wall into a neighboring unit, and yeah, he was acquitted. So here's where the law stands. After Breonna Taylor's death, Louisville banned no-knock warrants, and several other cities followed suit. Congress tried to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act in 2021, which would have banned no-knock warrants in federal drug cases. It passed the House, but then it died in the Senate. At the federal level, no-knock warrants remain legal. In most states, they remain legal. The rules on when they can be used vary significantly by jurisdiction. So there is no national standard when it comes to when and how a no-knock warrant can be granted. So here's the bottom line for you. No-knock warrants are legal in most of America. They are supposed to be limited to exceptional circumstances. The evidence shows they have been overused, often in lower-level drug cases and often in communities of color. Reform has stalled at the federal level. What we have now is a patchwork. And in most places, officers can enter your home without any kind of warning if a judge signs off on it. Yeah, another reason why you need to vote. So, next week, 5-week series, final episode. After everything we've covered, warrants, qualified immunity, your right to criticize the police. Next Monday, I'm giving you the practical version. What are your rights if law enforcement comes to your door? What do you say? What do you not say? What can you legally do? Come on back Monday and tell me in the comments, did you know that police could enter your home without knocking? And what's your reaction to that? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Melba Pearson, also known as the Resident Legal Diva, and thank you for tuning in to Mondays with Melba. Take care.